Good morning, everyone. I know no one's on yet. I didn't give you any heads up on time, but if I don't get this started, you will not get to see what the tamales look like this afternoon because this is actually a long process. So I'm gonna put the pork on. I'm gonna do the video, record it, let you guys see it, and then we'll come back later on to actually make the tamales. So let me flip the camera here so you can see what I'm doing. This is for tamales, and they're pork tamales. Morning, Tanya. So I have my IP turned on. I'm not sauteing anything because the meat is going to cook in its own juices. But let me just show you this real quick. So I made a spice blend. This has got cumin, onion powder, garlic salt, pepper, chili. I think that's it. Cumin, garlic, onion pepper, salt, pepper, and I think that's it. 6 ingredients. Oh, I can't remember. I'll write it down. But it's my spice blend for the tamales. You need this spice blend to be strong and thick because this becomes the braising liquid that you make your tamales with. So again, this is, and I have it right, it's got chili pepper, it's got cumin, it's got onion powder, garlic salt, and black pepper. So the garlic salt has some parsley in it, so you see the green. And this looks like quite a lot, but you need this much to actually flavor your meat and then make your liquid for to do with your tamales. Okay, so there's the powder mixture. So I am using pork chops. I do not have to saute anything. It's gonna cook in its own liquid. I defrosted these overnight, and this is just the first step of several, so you'll see multiple videos today. So I'm going to take the pork chops. First, I'm going to put a layer of that spice mix in the bottom of the pot. Even though it's dry, it'll be fine because the liquids will absorb it because you want to season that pork. These are bone-in pork chops. You can use pork loin, pork roast, whatever you got, you can use it. We're going to layer those in the pot, and I have a lot because I'm making also, besides the tamales, I'm gonna also use the pork to make enchiladas because Sarah can't have dairy and Keith doesn't like tamales, so it's a good fit. So then a layer of your spice mix goes on top. This is not a quick meal, but it is a quick cook because you let the IP literally do everything. More pork chops. And again, it doesn't matter what cut you use. Pork tamales are pretty popular. The layer of pork, another layer of spice mix. And I'm being very generous with my spice mix, you guys, because this is going to season your meat as it cooks. Pork does not take long to cook, but I want it super tender so I can just pull it apart with the fork. Boy, I can't even talk this morning. That's, I believe, 8 full-size pork chops. So when this meat gets done, I'm going to shred it and I'm going to put it in tamales. But if I don't get this going now, it won't be cool enough for me to make the tamales later on. So again, lots and lots of spices. Don't over salt your seasoning mix, but put enough to give it flavor. Let me go wash my hands real quick. What I am going to do is add a little chicken stock to the pan. Sorry, that was backwards. Just to give it a head start because you do need liquid to build up pressure in your IP. So this does not take any frying, glazing. That's probably about 3/4 of a cup. Y'all know your IPs by now. And sideways for some reason because I was looking at it. Oops. As I struggle to get my lid on. There we go. Okay, so I got it on. Remember to have your valve set to sealing. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this for, and this sounds like a long time for pork, but I want it like really, really tender. So I'm gonna put it on for 35 minutes. So I'm gonna turn this so you guys can see it. Oh, you can't see actual front of it. But this is set for 35 minutes. So when that gets done, I'm gonna natural release it. I'll put the camera back on me so you guys can see my mug instead of my Instant Pot. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Sherry. I'm making tamales today, so that was the spice mix. There's lots in there, and you can use it for other things, so just make it hand in hand, and then you have it done. The other thing I did do to prep for this is last night, I soaked the corn husks. Some stores don't carry them. I ordered mine online on Amazon because you want those to be easy to fold. So this is step 1 of homemade tamales. I'm gonna use the pork for enchiladas as well. Keith doesn't like tamales, shame on him. But Sarah and I do, so I'm making enchiladas with the pork that has cheese and then the tamales. So this is part 1. When the meat gets done and gets shredded, I'll show you how to make the masa for the tamales, and we'll get those done. Happy cooking, everyone. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Sissy's Savories and Sweets. I'm going to do part 2 of the tamales. Oh, my hair's been crazy weird. Sorry, you guys. And then there may be a 3rd part. So I'm going to make the corn layer, the masa, for the tamales. We might roll a few out just to see. But just so you know, I've never done this before. I've seen people do it, but this is a learning curve for me as well. So we're gonna get this to go. So let's get going on this. Let me turn the camera so you guys can see my cooking area. So the meat cooked for 35 minutes. It natural released for a good 30 minutes because I was getting ready for this morning. So let's get the lid off. And let me move this out of the way here. So that meat is like literally, you guys, fork tender. I'm gonna pull. I do want to mix it in with the juices because I want that flavor in with the meat. But this will pull apart in no time. So I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but let me just get a piece onto a plate here so you can see the meat. But this will literally shred in no time. So I'll do that later. Oh, it tastes, oh my gosh, you guys. I can't go on camera because I just moved the camera. That meat is to die for. It's tender. It's got a lot of flavor. Just move that out of the way so you guys can see better. Okay, so we're gonna shred that meat. But first off, let's make our filling. So move the camera again. And if you can, oh sorry, if you can't see something, let me know so I can adjust the camera. So the first ingredient in a tamale, after the meat of course, is the masa. Now masa can be hard to find. So here's what it looks like. I bought mine on Amazon along with the corn husks that I soaked overnight. So this recipe, and again, this is a red chili, you can do green chili. This recipe calls for 4 cups of masa. So I'm gonna do 4 cups. And I don't know how far we'll actually get in this process because I do have other things to get done. So we'll see how far I get before I have to leave. But I wanted to at least show you this piece of the recipe. So this makes 4. And again, I don't know if you can get this in town anywhere. I did just because it was easier for me to not have to deal with it, order it online along with the corn husks. Let me get my whisk on there. So Tiffany asked what was going on that was a big surprise. So just so you guys know, my husband's grandmother, who is 102, is coming to live with us. I will post an update, but she's had some medical emergencies, so we're gonna go take care of her. Or she's gonna come here so we can take care of her here. Okay, so then you need 2 teaspoons of salt, and I will post this recipe online so you can see the ingredients as well. I posted the filling, and then you need 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So there's 1 teaspoon and 1/2. Now, the recipe I looked up calls for water. I'm gonna use the broth. So remember that lovely broth we made with the pork? I'm gonna use this instead of water for the liquid in the masa, because it's got a lot of flavor in there. So there's also fat, but that's okay because fat means flavor, right? So let me just get this. I'll turn the camera back over to the pot of the blender. So this will make your corn, your masa, red, but that's okay because this is all flavor. It also calls for some shortening. I didn't have vegetable shortening, but you can use butter. That's 1 cup. Oh, see it bubbling up? That's the baking soda. So this calls for 2 cups of liquid. I'm gonna start with 1.5 cups, just so I can watch my consistency and have 1/2 cup ready to go in. So, can you guys see that okay? I'm gonna give this a stir. And this is to make the filling for the tamales. And I can tell we'll need more liquid, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that in. So before I add any more liquid, I'm gonna go ahead and add the vegetable. Now I am using I did look this up. I'm gonna use, this is dairy-free and gluten-free, so people who have dairy allergies. And then the masa is actually also gluten-free. It's cornmeal, but it's made in a special way for the texture. So I'm gonna use this instead of vegetable shortening. I did, like I said, look it up, and they said you could substitute it for 1-to-1. So this is 1/2 cup, and it calls for 3/4 cup. And then if I need to add some more liquid, I can. Okay, there we go. So let's give that a stir. My bowl is not sitting on that again. Okay. And this actually is not that hard. It's just time consuming. But once you get the ingredients together, it should pull together pretty quickly. And you want this to be a pretty combined dough. I'm gonna get some more of the liquid. And this is our cooking liquid from the pork chops earlier. We're getting there. A little more liquid, I think. Start low and add more later if you need to. Oh yeah, this looks good. Oh, and the smell, you guys. You guys, if you could smell my kitchen right now, it's amazing. And that corn smell is just bright and vibrant. Okay. So that looks really good. Let me just get it off the beater here because it's thick. This is the base of your tamale. This does not need to sit and refrigerate. If I can get it out of here. Use my different paddle. Make sure you soak your corn husks because that way they'll be pliable and you can work with them. There we go. I like to feel my dough when I make things that I bake. So I just want to combine this into, oh, look at this, you guys. Okay, this is nice and pliable. Let me just get it in my hand so you can see it. You guys see this? This is oh gosh, the smell in this kitchen is just amazing. Oops, dropped a piece of dough. Let me get a board to do the tamales on. This out of the way. We have a big kitchen, but sometimes not big enough to do a live demo. And remember, this is my first time doing it with you guys, so this is a learning curve for all of us. All right, can everyone see everything okay? Let me just move that back. All right, let's give this a go. So I got my corn husks that have been soaking overnight. I'm gonna take some of this tamale mixture. I don't know, I think it's like 3/4 of a cup. We're just gonna wing this, you guys. I have no clue what I'm doing here. This is all about learning together, right? I'm gonna flatten it out. These will steam in the IP. Oh, I love tamales. I'm so excited. For about, it said 40 minutes. It seems like a long cook time to me, but I'm gonna follow the directions on this. I'm not always good about following directions, but I'm gonna follow the directions on this. I'm gonna grab some meat and shred it real quick. I'm gonna put that in the center. And this is that seasoned pork that has the chili and the cumin and the garlic and salt. Okay, so per the instructions, I'm supposed to roll it and roll it and roll it again. And it looks like a tamale. I'm gonna seal it. I'm gonna tie these shut with some raffia to seal the tops. But these will stack in the IP. So there's the first one. Let's do this again. Get another corn husk. This one's a little bit smaller, but grab some of your tamale mixture, your corn mixture. Maybe a bit much for that size. Flatten it out. And I'm a very hands-on person, so if you don't like to use hands, use a spatula. This is actually really easy, you guys. I mean, I'm surprised at how quickly this is gonna go. I'm gonna grab some more of that meat and put that in the center. This meat has amazing flavor and texture. I'm just right now hand shredding it. I'm gonna shred the rest later because I want to show you guys how to do this. I want to do it with you because if I screw up, that means no one's gonna do this. Hello, Bethia. And I am not gonna say that I am a pro at this. Oops, this one just fell apart on me. I'm gonna do a second husk because this is my first time doing this. I looked up a recipe, I fell in love with it. I'm like, okay, let's give this a go. So if you are of Hispanic descent, I apologize if I'm messing up your tamales, but there's number 2. I'm gonna put these on a platter. Oops, my hair is in the way. We'll do one more together. So if you guys have tips or suggestions, make sure you let our group know. Again, I like to try new things with you. I'm not afraid to try new things, and if I won't do it, I shouldn't ask you guys to do it, so we'll just do this together. So there's our corn mixture. This is the braising liquid from the pork, and salt, and baking soda, and this is called maseca. It's a gluten-free corn masa mix that was made specifically for tamales. Bought it online because things are sometimes hard to find in Minnesota. Although if I would have looked hard enough, I would have probably found it. So I'm gonna flatten that into place. I'm gonna get some of our pork. Place that in the center. Bethany, or Bethia. Hey girl, so you've made tamales. Am I doing this right? I'm just guessing here because I found a recipe and I'm just winging it. I don't like to always wing things, but sometimes. So I'm gonna pull this up, roll this over, roll that over again. I'm gonna press it, and then I am gonna get some raffia to seal the top shut. The recipe I had said this takes 40 minutes. Let me go wash my hands real quick, so I'll do more later. Be right back. Grab my kitchen towel here. Okay, so let me get the camera adjusted so y'all can see who you're talking to versus being talked at. We are doing tamales today, and I'm not a pro at this, so we'll just wing it together. So in the pot, and here was our meat from this morning. Hi, Chantel. I did about 8 pork chops. You can do pork loin, you can do pork roast. They recommend pork butt. Season it, season it, season it. Let me show you my mix. So y'all can see my spices behind me. That's all my spices from making this mix. This mix has chili and cumin, garlic salt, black pepper, onion powder. I think 6. It's listed in the previous video, but I made a lot because I use a lot of spices. So season your meat to death, because that broth is your braising broth, and that's the broth you're gonna put in your tamale mixture, your corn mixture. So our pork butt, pork loin, pork roast, I don't care what pork you use, pork is the meat of choice. And that's gonna get shredded when it gets done, when I'm done, and you're gonna use that broth. So in the bowl, in my mixer, I have 4 cups of masa. It's a mixture, corn mixture for tamales. I bought it online. It is gluten-free, so if you have gluten allergies, you can use this mix. I also have about 2.5 cups of the broth from the pot. I have baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons, and 2 teaspoons of salt. I pre-soaked, and again, I bought these online. Corn husks, you need to get them wet beforehand so they'll shape for you the night before. They take a while to get tender. We took that corn mixture and layered it flat in the husk. I put the meat in the mixture and folded the tamale. I'm gonna seal this with a little raffia, but this looks like a tamale to me. So I have 3 done. I have a dozen to go. Wish me luck. Anyway, I'm going to get those done. The recipe I have says to steam them for 40 minutes. So when I steam them, I'm gonna actually steam them in the IP. I will pull you guys back online so you can see the steaming and then see the completed project. Never did them myself, but have been told by my Hispanic friends I grew up with that making these is, yes, it's definitely a family get together. Do you have fat in the corn mixture? Yes. So it calls for, sorry about that, it calls for vegetable shortening. I didn't have any, and I looked it up, and it said you can use butter or a substitute. I wanted to make this dairy-free as well, so I used this, because Sarah can't have dairy. So I did that, and gosh, it worked. Here's what the mixture looks like. It's soft, it's tender, smell is amazing. And I used that liquid from the pot, so don't get rid of it. Some people just use water. I like flavor, where I can add flavor, so don't waste your braising liquid, because that's good liquid. And make sure you taste your meat, you guys. If your meat does not have flavor in any recipe, you need to make sure to add more seasoning. So that's my tamales for now. I'm so glad you guys could join me. Again, if you have any tips on what I did or did not do wrong, or did do right, make sure you post them or share them. I will show you when they get steamed. So last thing is just a reminder, couple of things. We are going to have online class, in-person classes. I have to look at my calendar because we missed the class in August because of COVID. So I'm going to reschedule those for you guys so we can actually meet in person. If you want to host it at your home, Chantel, I know you offered before. We'll probably do that again. Let me know. Second thing is, next week is going to be a little crazy for us. That's why I'm trying to get this done now, because I wanted to show you this because I had the ingredients. Keith's grandmother is moving in with us. She's 102. She had some health issues and we needed to care for her. And let me know how this goes. We always use lard. Yep. So we'll see. I'll let you know because I'm curious too. That was Bethia with the question on the shortening in the masa mix. So anyway, Keith's grandma's coming to live with us. I'm not sure how often I'll get to do a video with her in the house, but I'll sure try. But I just want to let you guys know there's going to be some big life changes in our family. And I'm looking forward to being her caregiver. And the Lord's blessed us with having a home that we can take her into. So what I always say, you guys, happy cooks cook with love. Food is a ministry. Food is a blessing. Food is a gift. Feeding people is a gift. So enjoy what you do. Don't let food stress you out. It can be fun. Literally, I did this in how many minutes? So I really hope you guys will try this. We could do it as a get together even, because I know usually people roll out hundreds of tamales at a time. So happy cooking, everyone, and cook with love. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, I'm back again. So I'm going to do part 3 real quick because I have to walk out the door shortly. Let me flip the camera around. So I have these in my 6-quart IP. And you're supposed to put your steamer rack in, or your trivet, and I have about a cup of water in the base of this, but I lined them up so they wouldn't fall through the cracks, but there's about a dozen tamales in there. So the instructions say 40 minutes. So I'm going to set this for 40 minutes, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put delay start so that while I'm out in the next 4 hours, it will start. So I'm going to put my lid on. Make sure your valve is set to sealing. So in 4 hours, this should go off and start the timer for, there it goes. So it's set. So in 4 hours, it's supposed to start, which means in about 5 hours, these tamales should be done. So I will let you guys know how it looks. Tune back in later on this evening. Love you guys. Bye. All right, you guys. I'm living large. I'm going live. The tamales are done. We'll see if I mess this up or not. So it cooked for 40 minutes. I'm gonna let it sat natural release for about 20 minutes. So I'm just gonna move this camera so you can see what I'm doing. Because you will get to see this when I see it. I have not lifted the lid yet. So we'll see. Here goes. Was it a fail? Okay, well, they smell divine. I'm gonna pull, oh boy, they're hot. They're piping hot. I kind of want to wait till Sarah gets home to taste these, but I want to show you guys. Ooh. Okay, there's the tamale. Let me unwrap it. Came a little loose on this one. So let's see if I was successful in this or not. Because I always tell you guys to do what? Taste your food before you serve it, right? So let me get the camera so you can see my reaction. This is a big one, guys, because if this worked, this will be one of my favorite recipes. So this is a red chili tamale. So let's taste the corn first. Hi, Sharon. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I had to use vegan butter basically instead of Crisco because I didn't have it. Winner, winner. Pork tamale dinner. Oh my gosh. Bethia, when you come on, tell your friend to not use Crisco anymore. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna eat the whole thing before it's gone. Let me just recap. So the corn was, the masa was a mixture, a masa I bought online on Amazon. It was 4 cups of the corn mix. Hey, Tanya, these are really good. It was 4 cups of corn mix, a teaspoon and a half of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 3/4 of a cup, and I used Country Crock. It's dairy free. And then I used the braising liquid from the pork. I used about 2.5, almost 3 cups to get it to the right texture. So I pre-soaked the corn husks, And then I rolled out the masa in the morning. If you check my videos, I'm gonna take a bite here. I'm coming for supper. You're welcome. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so fun. In the morning, I put the pork on. I used pork chops. I made my own spice mix with chili and cumin and garlic salt and onion powder and black pepper. I posted that too. But you guys, tamales in the IP in 40 minutes. So total time was about an hour and a half because I did cook the meat. I only rolled out like 15 because, sorry, I should put this down. How rude to eat. I wanted to try it first before I had you guys do it. So you can do it. Do your tamales in the IP. You'll love it. Happy cooking, everyone. Cook with love. I'll catch you later.